Moxy Muzik, I've been asked this loads, but I think it should be pretty obvious from looking at the parties that I'm doing, what it's all about. I just wanted to get away from big branded events and doing parties where, I mean, I made my name playing in Sankey's, which was kind of intimate-ish kind of club, small club, long sets, residencies, you know, because I kind of started off in the 90s, and in the 90s DJs played long sets, they did residencies, like they didn't really travel as much. So it's about knowing the crowd. It's a regular crowd that come, the crowd knows you, you know, they know the type of music you're going to play, and it builds a kind of a community thing. And when I stopped my residency with Sankey's and I started touring all over the world, it was great, and I did it for years, it's absolutely amazing. But then I started doing parties, which, don't get me wrong, I love the big parties that I still do them, you know, I still do, like in Ibiza I do massive parties, and I go all over the world, I'll go to Argentina, I'll go wherever and do those huge events. But I miss the small intimate club vibe, you know? So I thought if I start Moxie, that's aimed at keeping that side of things still going, right? And with the label as well, I wanted full control over the music. So I made my name making house music, and I feel like a lot of the music that was out there was, you know, techno, kind of business techno, people call it whatever. That kind of got really massive, and I wasn't enjoying some gigs that I was doing. I thought, I'm gonna have to be honest, like, Do Not Sleep was great when we did it, but it got to a point where it became this massive Ibiza brand, and I was changing my music to play for the party, and the DJ should never change what they're about. I needed to move and start afresh with Moxy Muzik. And if you look at what Moxy means in the dictionary, it's kind of like someone who does kind of what they want without caring if people don't like it or whatever. So that's why I called it Moxy Muzik. So Manchester, Moxy Muzik. Obviously before I did the residency, I was doing Manchester gigs still. I was moving between Joshua Brooks, the old Joshua Brooks, and South. And I was doing long sets and sometimes 6-hour sets, but I was doing sometimes a little bit shorter and bringing upcoming acts through. Then my friend George Meehan and Brian, they hit me up saying, look, Joshua Brooks has come available. They want to potentially ask me if I want to come and go back to there. And I thought, sounds class, I actually like it, but I said it does need to be falling apart in there. But you know, that's half the charm, the fact that it's underground. They said, no, we want to do it up, but we know you made your name in these kind of small venues, so we want you to come and help us design it, redesign the inside and features about it, you know. And I was like, absolutely, why not? So we went in with the lads. You can see it on YouTube where I'm talking about the structural space. You know, it used to be in the corner, we brought it forward so people can move around you. Because before you couldn't actually connect with the people in the two side rooms. Now because it's come forward and it's a bit further out, you can see those rooms. Raise some areas at the back, put the lighting in there is perfect, because people forget how important lighting is. The floods in there work amazing, and sometimes when you want to step it up a bit, you turn the floods off and then you put the strobes on. The void sound system is amazing. We did the clap test where you walk around, checking for echoes. If there was any echo, you'd take some brickwork out, put some foam in. So people don't realise how much effort's gone into that. You know, I mean, we don't advertise, so we won't get nominations for anything like that, but we're totally fine with that because underground stuff it doesn't really get a lot of press. We don't do press. We want people to come word of mouth. People started travelling now to Manchester for Moxy Muzik, from Bournemouth, Portsmouth. We had some people from Northampton come. We've had people come down. Actually, we had people come from Austria, flew in to come to Moxy Muzik. So they've seen the videos, they know how good it is, so they come. But then you also have the Manchester regulars that come, you know. So for me, I travel all over the world. My diary's been absolutely brutal this year, right? Brutal. Right? It's a good thing. Never at home, but I always look forward to when I've got that Manchester gig and I look at my diary, this weekend's Moxie. And I just know I can just vibe with that crowd. I walk in, I see regular faces, and I've just got that energy, which I know, if I ever lose that feeling, that's the time to give up DJing, but it's such a good feeling. And my wife, Lauren, she's like, you've got that feeling, haven't you? And I'm like, yeah, she knows when I'm just ready. And that 3-hour set that I do just goes like that. I'd stay on for 10 hours if I could. So that's, for me, is what DJ is about. And Moxie in Manchester, we've done 18 shows since after lockdown, and I think I played 65 hours in Manchester. So I wouldn't change that for the world. It's absolutely amazing. And we've got the upcoming acts coming through. And one thing we always do as well, I always make sure there's a female artist on. I've had some people give me grief saying you always put female acts on, that there's less female DJs, the proportion of females you put on is more than there's out there. But I do that on purpose because at the end of the day, it's to inspire younger DJs who are female. I think they can do this as well, because it has been a little bit too much male dominated. I used to have a record shop for 15 years, and very rarely would girls come in and buy records. They'd come in and buy tickets, merchandise, everything else, CDs, albums, but they wouldn't buy vinyl. It'd be very rare. And it'd be like having a restaurant where you're only selling food to men, which is just a bit absurd. So I think you want the younger generation of girls to see, who are 10, 11, 12, see other DJs, female DJs, and think, I can do that. And you know, it's better, the more the better, do you know what I mean? So it's got like, Paige Tomlinson plays for us a lot. We've got Aisha Pittman, Olivette, now a resident as well, she's good. In the past I've had Alicia, Fleur Shaw, originally I got her signed to NG in my agency. She's now smashing it with Martinez Brothers crew. So, you know, it's about building a community for everyone. And it's good knowing that you're giving a little bit back as well, you know, like to upcoming acts. We talked about doing parties in random venues. We found the Concorde. We looked at the cost of doing the Concorde, and even selling out, we were still going to make a couple of grand loss. And we looked at it and thought, what's the point in doing it if you're making money? But then I thought, hang on, I didn't become a DJ to make money. I become a DJ to play music that I enjoy, but also do certain parties that you're going to remember forever. So I thought, why don't we just do it anyway? Let's just do it, you know? And this is why I love George Meehan and Brian. They do massive festivals all over the world, right? I mean, they do abroad, but in the UK, they do reggae festivals, everything. So you could argue they haven't even got the time to do this, but they've got the passion for promoting as much as me, so we work well together. And the Concorde was one of them. It was like, there was so much, I don't know if you saw the video mapping that was done, there was so much effort gone into that to make it light up under the Concorde, to get the sound right in there, because it's all glass, it's an aircraft hangar, so it's like echoing, but we got the best sound system guys in. I don't know if people saw my Instagram story before. They got the guys that are so professional, going around, putting mics, doing sound checks, reverberation checks. People don't see this side of it, because when it's a club, it's already set up. But these guys came in, did everything to make sure it was perfect. And it was basically spot on. And people say to me, you know, you didn't make any money, what's the point? And I've always said this, you're either an artist or you're a businessman. Now, you never get to number one being an artist, but one of my favourite DJs, Phil Weeks, he's never number one, the press don't talk about him, he's never in a top 100 DJs list, but that's just all nonsense, man. You know, the guy doesn't even touch the jog wheel when he's DJing. Have you seen Phil Weeks play? Absolute legend. He doesn't even touch he's like, turns the pitch up like that, puts it on vinyl mode, doesn't need a record box, same as me. He's an amazing DJ, one of the best in the world that I've seen. Isn't ever talked about in the press, and he's totally fine with it, because his label, Rob Soul, is how I've based Moxie to be. The people that find it organically become a fan, and you end up with only having fans who genuinely want to enjoy that music. See, the problem is with the press talk about you loads, everybody else, the masses, start getting on it and thinking they've got to go because they said it's cool, and then you end up with an absolutely packed room, but an atmosphere as flat as a flipping, do you know what I mean? And that's what everyone always says, the atmosphere at Moxie is insane. And that's because everyone's there, they know they're there for that music, because it's not forced down their throat. They've come because they want to come to Moxie. And when we did the Concorde, that is not getting beaten for a long time. It's not. But we also have the Untitled Studios in Salford. I don't know if you've seen that. We're going to put video mapping on the wall there. We did Victoria Bath. We've got a cathedral coming up, but don't tell anyone. We're going to do finally this Moxie in the Woods thing. Nearly got the license for it. So we're going to do them as well as Joshua Brooks. But don't forget, Moxie isn't just Manchester. You know, I just did Fabric, which was unreal. We just did Sonar, which was sold out. We just did ADE Amsterdam, which was sold out. We're going to got Berlin coming up. Before COVID, we had South America tour, which we're going to do again. So, you know, it's going better than I expected after 4 years, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But the Concorde was next level, kind of something you're never really gonna It's going to take a lot to beat it, basically, but you know, we will try and beat it, but it was just so good, man. Me and George looked at each other at the end and went, I didn't even play all these tracks. He was like, I didn't either, because we didn't plan anything. We just went off, bouncing off each other and the vibe of the crowd. I was looking, going, okay, maybe a track like this vibe, bit of vocal, you know, a bit of US house, bit of Kerry Chandler vibe, and it was going off. So we were just organically doing it, and then suddenly looked at the watch, it's like, bloody hell, there's 20 minutes left. It was so mad how quick it went. It was bonkers, man. Talking of the Concorde, I don't know if people know, we powered by Rec guys. They came, did a full live stream. There was cameras at different angles. The whole 5 hours is going to be on YouTube. So check my Instagram. You'll be able to get a link in my bio, and you can watch the whole thing back. If you were there, relive it. If you weren't there, you can enjoy it, because it was absolutely class.